I'm back. Humping Badger Wednesday. What's good, everybody?
Don't give Humping Badger a shout out.
I'm giving it. I don't know what your dealio is, but had a great time. I got a couple of stories at the end of the show. I'd like to share with you guys.
From Carolina?
Yeah, it was a timeshare opportunity. David, I don't know what you said, but
it was Voltar.
Apparently there was a lot of rumors about me being on some weird Pitch Perfect choir trip that you weirdos just in your head.
Yeah. There it is. Voltar spotted you in Carolina.
We got a great show today. Glad to be back with you guys. As usual, did an unbelievable job holding it down. But David, let's get to a fun fact before we
you want some fun facts? Because today I've got Curt Schilling's postseason stats here. You ready for this? Curt Schilling, 11-2 in the postseason throughout his career.
Shoving.
With a 2.23 ERA. He pitched in 5 elimination games, and 3 of those games with a potential to clinch, won every single one of them.
Clutch.
In the 2001 season alone, 48 innings pitched, 56 Ks, only 6 walks, had an ERA of 1.12, and he was 4-0 that World Series season.
Was the bloody sock real?
Why are they disrespecting this man by talking about he had a ketchup sock?
Listen,
manufacturer motivation.
Either way, I respect
manufacturer motivation, Dave.
Either way, I respect it. Right? Sometimes you got to play it up a little bit, get everybody going.
With ketchup?
Hell, Kirby Smart convinced his Georgia team they're going 6-6.
I get it, but man,
he put ketchup all over himself and ran out.
I believe. I still believe.
Yeah,
I'm not a conspiracy theorist on the ketchup.
Fake reports have surfaced saying A&M may leave the SEC for the Big Ten. Hint, they're not. Tensions rise in a heated basketball game between Texas and Texas Tech last night, and Tennessee Attorney General Jonathan Skrmetti joins us to discuss their lawsuit against the big bad NCAA. I'm Jake Crane. It's a Humping Badger Wednesday, and welcome to Crane & Company. Now, regardless of what you've heard, Texas A&M is not leaving the SEC to go to the Big Ten. Now, that rumor was started recently. It's been swirling around the college football realm the past couple of days. And after just double-checking with people who I promise definitely know what's going on in Aggieland, there's no way they're going to run to the Big Ten because of Texas or any financial share increase. It's just not true. And anyone that tells you otherwise is peddling more than Lance Armstrong and Pablo Escobar combined. Now, we can sit here and discuss the crazy amount of fake news during the talking season that gets thrown around the sport, but instead, let's look at the main reason why it would not be in A&M's best interest to leave the SEC for the Big Ten because of Texas, and it's one simple word: optics. It would look like you were scared of them. Scared of them being in your own conference. And that just isn't true. You can say a lot of things about A&M, but they're definitely not scared. Now, I do know that A&M previously left the Big 12 that had Texas in it, but that was to go to the SEC. You don't run from a house fire into a volcano because you don't want to get burned. Now, you would never recover optically from that image, regardless of how much money you'd make in the Big Ten or how much veto power you get. You would absolutely get clobbered in recruiting because of it as well. Now, the actual reality is exactly the opposite. Having Texas come into the SEC is the best case scenario for A&M because now Texas has to go through the same hell that Texas A&M is now used to going through. And while the Longhorns are going to be good next year with Quinn coming back and what Sark's doing, nobody is questioning that or blaming Texas. Over time, it makes them more vulnerable. So let's put this rumor to bed because coaches are already going to use it now against A&M in recruiting. And let's focus on the plausible. And to those out there just making things up, stop it. It helps nobody. But a guy that helps everyone, a father of 3, a man that pays his taxes and believes in America, David Cohn. He's also 6'7". And then my brother, a man of many talents, so many I can't even list, got a great head of hair on him.
Wow. This is new. Keep going, please.
Can do a Sudoku every now and then.
I can.
Blaine Crane, former Western State, Colorado wide receiver. David, I just wanted to put this to bed because I've seen it everywhere. It's ridiculous. It's not going to happen. It took 2 seconds last night for me to double check, like I said, with people that I know that are in it. But do you see my point of if you're A&M and you had to pick any conference to be in with Texas, the SEC is the perfect one because now Texas has to go through that roller coaster and you will have a better chance as opposed to being in a conference where you're just running through everybody else. Texas got to go through hell to get to heaven now a little bit.
Do it, Texas A&M. Big Ten.
What's wrong with
I talked to my sources after you talked to your sources. Done deal. Wrap them up. Go to the Big Ten. Geography clearly doesn't matter anymore. The Big Ten's a motivated party. Hey, we already got California schools. We got schools up in Oregon. Let's go ahead and go down to the Texas market. But, of course, when I first heard about this news, it seemed absolutely crazy. Like you said, they did run before. They ran to the SEC. There is just something about the language, and every time I hear that, the Aggies' contractual negotiations about wanting to keep Texas away from them. It's crazy. I mean, here in this statement here, the Aggies will reportedly get a much bigger financial package in the Big Ten from their current earnings. They also want a right to veto a potential addition of the Longhorns in the future. That was the request they made to the SEC, too. How'd that work out?
Well, it's in today's era of college football where everything's changing quickly, it's almost like you got to look at everything and really think about it because who the hell knows? I mean, look at how much the game has changed. But, Blaine, I do want to kick this over to you. Here's what I'm going to go ahead and tell you about A&M, and I haven't really heard anybody other than us say it, and I'm not saying they're going to win a national championship next year or that they're ever going to win one under Mike Elko. But do not confuse this A&M team now with Coach Elko and what he's doing with what went on with Jimbo Fisher. Jimbo Fisher was a good coach. Won a national championship at Florida State. I'm not trying to knock him. But Texas A&M isn't coming in and with high expectations anymore. I think Mike Elko is going to get them back to the gritty team and the gritty identity that they need to have to be able to operate at the highest level of efficiency, right? The best thing for them. They're going to get back to fundamentals, being tough, that 12th man really making sense. And the more you kind of pick at these guys, you're going to end up pissing them off. And I'm just telling you this. Mike Elko went to joke, man. He did it at Duke, right? He won at Duke, where all they care about is basketball and midterms. All right, imagine what he can do at a place where they show up at midnight to scream at each other in the middle of campus. That's all I'm going to say. So A&M is not leaving the SEC, but Blaine, again, would you not rather catch Texas in the SEC, where, again, you're not the state school technically, right? So you're probably going to be the underdog going into it. I think it's good for A&M.
Well, yeah, no, I think so. But this is just A&M's just got little brother written all over them.
Why do you A&M didn't start this rumor. Like this wasn't started by A&M. Like
did A&M want Texas in the SEC?
I don't think at first. I think but again, we there's nuance to it. Why? It's not like Texas A&M left the Big 12 just so they didn't have to play Texas. Texas A&M went to the SEC because it made their brand better. It gave them a recruiting edge when they went into a kid's living room saying, listen, I know Texas is the big bad state school, right? We know they're the biggest one. We get it, but we're in the SEC. Why don't you come play in the best conference in the country? It's not, we're afraid to play Texas. This was an advantage in recruiting for us. It gave us kind of our feather in the cap outside of being the big dog within the state. So I think we do need to explain the nuance. The rumor was unfounded. I just wanted to shoot it down. They're not going anywhere. They don't need to go anywhere. And the SEC doesn't want them to go anywhere.
Well, when you talk about Mike Elko being the head coach and how he's going to coach the team and it's going to be different than Jimbo Fisher, he wouldn't have any say in a decision like this anyway.
No,
we're talking about so far in the future. He may not even be the head coach by the time. The real reason this won't happen is because they're locked into the deal until 2034. And obviously, one school we haven't talked about, which is a huge hinge in this whole thing, is Notre Dame. I mean, Notre Dame has a perpetual invite to the Big Ten. So if you got Notre Dame, you'd get a second school to keep everything even. I think that's why they're even having
Florida State.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, every AD, this is why I said last year when Michigan was threatening to leave the Big Ten after Harbaugh got suspended, every AD should be talking with every conference just to know what offers out there in case their conference crumbles in the matter of a couple weeks, like the Pac-12 did. They're all talking to them. So maybe that's where some of this stuff is coming from. But if If Texas A&M and the SEC's locked into a deal, a contract to 2034, and Notre Dame is locked into their contract as an independent school until 2029, I don't see how it's ever going to time up to where both of those schools could leave for the Big Ten and be in at the same time.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. It's going to be interesting to see some of these, periphery schools. We saw UMass just join the MAC. You look at UConn and schools like that, but we want to know what you think. The lines are going to open 7:15 a.m. Central, 1-855-236-3228. Going to get to the Booster Club here in 1 second, but first, all right, I hit a little 7-leg parlay last night, thanks to Colorado State, Nevada, hitting the over at 140.5 late. And where do I bet? The best place to bet. That's betonline.ag. We got the NBA going on, the NHL going on. March Madness is right around the corner. I know we're still a little bit a ways away from fall, but spring football just started across the country, and BetOnline is the best platform regardless of what sport you want to bet on. So it's very easy to sign up. Got a great deal for you. You go to betonline.ag. BetOnline.ag to place your bets for the big games we got coming up this weekend. Some big ones tonight in college basketball as well. Make sure you use promo code BOOSTER. That's BOOSTER for a 50% instant deposit bonus up to $1,000. That's BetOnline.ag. Use promo code BOOSTER. If I'm going to bet, I'm going to bet online because the options are endless. It's a Paul Johnson situation. But speaking about options, got some good options in the merch store. Help out the show. We really appreciate it. You guys go to betonline.ag. Grab you a hoodie, too, from our merch store. Maybe a candle, this Flamin' Dragon one again. It's just delicious. Got a little cinnamon vibe there. But let's get to the Booster Club before.
All right, Booster Club. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you donate, it's on topic. I'll read it. We're going to start it off with Chris H. Chris, what is going on, my guy? After A&M fans went in so hard on Brian Kelly to Michigan fake story, I'm 100% going to spread this rumor to A&M to the Big Ten that they're running from Texas every day of their lives.
Do we have proof that it was A&M that started the Brian Kelly to Michigan rumor? And again, I get it, right? Spring football's here. The transfer portal window doesn't open for a little bit where we're going to kind of finalize these rosters. At least we get into the summer. And it's fun to talk about these things. But there's some rumors that are just better than other ones, right? Caleb Williams, rumors about him. He wants 25% of the Bears. Oh, he may come back if he gets a certain percentage of the EA Sports video game, which you're not going to get. It's like, buddy, you're good. You ain't that good. Some are more fun than others. I just think this one kind of sucks.
Like the rumor of Brian Kelly to Michigan had to be an agent play. Like, not another school.
The Jimmy Sexton special.
Like, look, you see an opportunity to leak a rumor so that your coach can get either a bigger contract or be more beloved at the school he's at. Like, that's the play to me.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Chance. Chance, what's going on, my guy? A&M left to the SEC, but asked Texas to continue the rivalry on a yearly basis before A&M left. Trust me, A&M was never afraid of Texas.
Well, you can't use the afraid rumor. It's like I said, you don't go from a house fire into a volcano because you're scared to get burned. You're not scared going into the SEC, really in any sport, but especially in college football, right? It just, that doesn't line up. I'm glad that they're in the same conference. I hope Florida State jumps in the same conference as Florida, and Miami hops in there too. I'm all for it.
Now, they play November 30th.
Where's it at? Is it at A&M?
College Station.
Oh, happy day.
November 30th. Let's find out.
That'll be a fun week.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Ryan Roberts' forehead. It's crazy. That's a real thing. He says the SEC is more like a men's spa that Jake just got back from rather than a volcano.
What?
I can see that.
What? Okay. Men's spa.
A men's spa.
There was no. I went to Hawaii. I went to Hawaii with my beautiful wife. Right? We were supposed to go in December. Y'all made up some choir rumor.
Look.
That I'm in.
We got told photo. He called in.
Every time I go somewhere, it comes back and you guys just absolutely destroy me.
Please.
Spy, men's
You did
spa.
that to yourself.
Y'all did, yeah. Apparently I was on a cruise with Dylan Mulvaney.
Well, I mean, allegedly, it's, that's
that's
your life, though. I will say, though, if you've ever been on one of those, it was a timeshare promo, right? So you got to go and listen to him for like an hour and a half, okay, about, hey, buy this timeshare, whatever. So in my mind, I was like, listen, I'm gonna pay attention, something I might be interested in it, but if after 30 minutes I don't like it, what's the best way to get out of there? Hit the eject button. And then I thought, maybe the best way is if maybe I start trying to sell them on a Nashville timeshare. You know, like 30 minutes in, be like, guys, listen, like this humpback whale situation's awesome. The weather's great. Lava flow, didn't even know what that was. Hell of a drink.
Yeah.
Let's talk Hendersonville.
I have a spare bedroom.
Let's talk Broadway. I know a father of 3.
You got cowboy boots?
More than willing and definitely has the space. And he has a cool poker table. So I ended up not going there, but I thought if I had to, I was going to go there and just try and start selling them, therefore making them up. See, here we go. There's actual photo evidence.
Why is that so easily accessible?
Well, they've got it just ready to
It's
pull
like,
up.
just why are y'all so ready to pull that up? It's like it's waiting in the wings. Where's Jake's gay choir men's picture?
Why does it?
Where's that?
It hasn't been leaked yet.
That picture doesn't exist.
Yeah, it does. It's out there.
Second off,
it's going to come to
light. It's
light.
just a choir, dog.
It's going to come to light.
Yeah, I wasn't out there. You know, this wasn't High School Musical. I tell you what was crazy though. The time difference is absolutely nuts.
Real thing.
Yeah, I was literally watching games that start at 6 p.m. where I'm from at like 11:30. I was basically Japanese for 4 days from a time zone standpoint.
Aren't the Japanese ahead of us? Are they on Thursday yet?
What'd you just say?
I'm not worried about Cone.
Which ones are behind? And
no way it's Cone.
I don't know.
That came out 7 foot in a Japanese spot.
Yeah, well, you like I don't like hearing things.
Never worked.
I don't like hearing things like Japan's ahead of us and stuff like that. I don't like when you say stuff like that.
I think they're already on Friday.
Back to the booster
Flaming Dragon Friday.
Seems like one of us really wants to be ninja.
All right, let's go to U-Haul. What is up, man? Jake, come on, dude.
What?
Your SEC bias is on display here.
What?
A&M is absolutely the little brother that goes to the elementary school basketball court to feel better about their game.
Wait a minute. SEC bias. You can't say SEC bias anymore.
You're SEC bias.
Like that. What does that even mean? They dominated the sport. I know Michigan won the national championship last year.
Yeah,
what do you mean SEC bias? That's like being like, well, that's Chick-fil-A bias in the chicken sandwich game. No, they're running the checkup. And Texas joined the SEC. So, like, again, A&M, I am not saying that A&M is the big dog in the SEC. Hell, they haven't even been in the conference championship game. I get it. That's not what I'm saying. I just don't think it would be in their best interest, and I know for a fact that they are not running to the Big Ten because of Texas. That's all I'm saying. That is it. I'm not saying Texas fans think that. Same thing with the horns down situation. Most Texas fans could give a damn whether you do horns down or not. It's the higher-up people or the Rodney Terrys, right? It was a made-up rumor. I want to go ahead and quash that thing, right? Am I repping a little bit for Billy Lucci right now?
Are you quashing it?
I'm quashing it. I'm quashing it, squashing it in a mosh
just
pit.
Completely fabricated?
It's completely fabricated. It is BS.
See, I heard the complete opposite.
News.
I heard it's 100% true.
You know what? I'm just, okay.
As in, like, the athletic director or the president didn't even talk to the Big Ten Conference at all?
I think it was generated for clicks. You have potato farmers, right? Okay? You have peanut farmers. You also have engagement farmers. And I think maybe this is a little bit of that situation. All right? I don't want to dive too far into it, but you know that I know you know I know. That you know that I know you. All right?
Let's go to Charles Dossett with a $5 donation. A man, the donation I've never missed, and don't let him tell you anything different. He says, why does this episode already feel worse than yesterday's? Something is different.
Charles.
We just don't like it.
Great, Charles. You always come in with your funny little jokes.
The spy's back.
Yeah, your funny little jokes. But in reality, Charles, it's good to hear from you. I feel like it's been a while since I've heard from you. All right, let's go one more before I get pissed off.
Let's go to DeAndre D. Young with the $20 donation. Appreciate it, my guy. Morning, boys. Just want to say y'all make the morning drive to work a lot better. One the first sports podcast with no agenda. Continue to put in the good work, fellas. Really appreciate it. DeAndre, appreciate you, big
DeAndre, well, I appreciate that, man. Listen, we're going to tell you what we think, okay? Nobody sent me a check yet. We're all the fans of somebody. Auburn hadn't sent me a check yet. A&M hadn't sent me a check yet. There's one place that sends me checks. That's why I'm repping the Daily Wire, repping it hard.
A&M hadn't sent you a check yet?
Not yet. Listen, I know y'all got the money. I wish they'd send me one of them Jimbo checks. But before we get to the a little bit of reactions here, which I'm excited about. There's a couple in there that I'm super duper excited about. You know what's in my cup? Guess what? Yeah. This ain't Folgers, brother. This is Black Rifle Coffee. Before I get into this, did y'all see that picture on X somebody made of what the fucking Dragon Brew should look like?
It's incredible.
Somebody else made another one. I want to get in this battle. You see,
we just talked about that.
One day.
It's fantastic.
It's time.
And Black Rifle just partnered with the UFC. So you talk about a punch in your wake-up game. Look, you partner with UFC. You're punching pretty high, brother. And if you haven't had Black Rifle Coffee yet, now's the perfect time to try it yourself, and you'll see why. They're shooting up the ranks almost as fast as Crane & Company. And imagine if they got that Flamin' Dragon brew. They'd be the number one coffee in the history of the world. And right now, you can get 20% off your first order with promo code BOOSTER. That's BOOSTER at blackriflecoffee.com. They're veteran-founded and veteran-run. They take pride in serving coffee and culture to people who love America, like you, like us, like everyone associated with it. And don't just take our word for it. Go to blackriflecoffee.com right now, like I said, for that 20% off with promo code BOOSTER. That's blackriflecoffee.com with promo code BOOSTER. It's America's coffee. Wake up and taste the deliciousness.
See?
All right, reactions.
Choir.
See, now I can't sing anymore.
Gotta
Now
tell
I
you.
can't do my fun little jingles
tell you.
because y'all ruined it.
Go ahead, Dad.
No, I need the picture to be sent in. That's what we really need. Yeah. Texas versus Texas Tech last night. Things got heated.
God, I love it. It's the best things in life are heated. Food, pools, rivalries, games. There was a couple games last night that were pretty heated. Colorado State, Nevada was basically a fist fight for about 40 minutes.
Didn't that game end with a buzzer beater?
Yeah, boy hit a half-court shot. Last night was weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Reed Shepherd hits the game winner for Kentucky. Max Strus hits one from half-court to win it for the Cavs. Not that anybody's watching.
Was it a full moon last night?
Huh?
Was it full moon?
It had to be.
Probably was.
Hear what we're talking about?
Yeah,
It probably was. And then Lucas from Nevada hit a half-court shot with 2.5 seconds. Huge one for Nevada that gets them in the tournament. And now Colorado State, I think, has lost 4 out of their last 5 after starting out really hot. But I tell you what, man, March Madness, college basketball, I just love it. I feel like Chris Farley from Tommy Boy. I just want to touch it, massage it, and love
Did you mention
it.
Kentucky's buzzer beater?
Yes, Reed Shepherd, Haru the Great White Ninja. Which Mississippi State, that was a fantastic game.
Great game.
Mississippi State hits a 3-pointer.
Cash.
Again, with
Tied up.
like 4 seconds to tie the game, and then Reed, a.k.a. the Good Shepherd, goes down and hits that runner.
And if you go back and watch that clip, there's nothing like a guy with the last 5 seconds going to be the last shot going down the court like this.
Yeah, I love it.
As a coach, I'm like, yes, him.
You know who?
Him.
You know who Reed Shepherd reminds me of? And only the basketball connoisseurs will remember this one. Played for Ohio State. You met Aaron Kraft.
Oh, he was so good.
God.
Point guard.
You talk about they very similar game. Shepherd to me is a better shooter already. And when you look at Kentucky, I know they gave up a lot of points to Mississippi State. Defensively, they've gotten better. But guys, in their last 2 games, they've scored like 208 points. I believe I saw Cole Kublik, our friend, tweet this out. It's the most points in a 2-game span they've scored in like 40 years. Dillingham is an absolute. This man is a lottery pick coming off the bench, dog. Like just offensively. He's Weapon X. He's Deadpool. You mix him with Reeves and some of the other weapons they've got. Kentucky's a problem, man.
Aaron Kraft was so good, man.
Hustle.
What a great
talk about a hustler.
Do we have the top 25, the new rankings for college basketball while we're talking about it?
Let's throw these up here.
Throw that up there.
All right.
So UConn 3 now.
Yeah. And look, they had that loss at Creighton, and then Creighton turns around and loses. Top 25, all that stuff's great. What I love is who the hell knows. I will say this. I still don't trust Purdue. And I like Matt Painter, right? I know Zach Edey is the thing from Pacific Rim. Right? I get it. I don't trust him. I'll continue to say I don't trust him. It's going to be really, really hard for me, though, even though they fell to 3, not to have UConn and Houston in the Final Four. Because right now, I think they're going to finish in the top 4, so they're not going to be in the same region. Like the first time they play would be in the Final Four. It's going to be very, very hard. Because I love me some Dan Hurley, too, now. Right, you talk about a guy that would be fun to play for, a guy that's intense as a camping trip. You look at Houston and UConn, to me, those are the top 2 teams. But you look at Tennessee, and David, before you jinx them to hell like you normally do,
they're winning it.
Dalton Knecht has been the difference offensively. He's a guy that at any point in time can not only get a bucket, can get multiple buckets. I call him Diet Luka. Not that he's going to be Luka Doncic, but God, there's some similarities in their games. And I like the way Tennessee is structured. I think this may be the run for Rick Barnes, insert joke here, but Dalton Knecht.
Ron Slay gave me permission to pick Tennessee.
He did.
He said, don't suffer from the volunteer derangement syndrome. What was it?
Yeah. Don't get
volunteer derangement syndrome?
You're on. I think that's it. You're on to something. You're in the
He
right
knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Ron Slay knows what I'm talking about. All right, next reaction up. UMass is going to be joining the MAC. How you feel about this?
I know there are some UMass fans that I believe hope they'd get in Conference USA or maybe the American. Look, I applaud you for getting in a conference. I just feel like now with today's nomenclature, we need to change the name of the MAC. Like you can't have the word mid in there. I know it means geographical, but geography doesn't matter anymore. Massachusetts isn't in the middle of nothing.
You can just say middle of.
No, I feel like we should change it. I just feel like we should change it. You can't have the word mid in there. You especially can't have a team that has the word ass and then mid in there and put those two together. That's a tall order as well. But look, good for them joining the conference. I can respect that.
Yeah, good job, guys. UMass, woohoo! You did it.
They'll have
How
pride
many
nights.
people, though?
They'll have pride nights when they play Liberty.
Yeah.
How many people, though, are going to take UMass in the new EA Sports game to build them up? That's a very popular shell build.
Like Old Dominion or die.
No, dude, it's Kent State. Get rich or die trying.
Who you getting, Dave?
For
Georgia
the
Southern,
for
man.
the
Georgia
group of five, Georgia Southern.
Yeah.
I have to.
Yeah.
Who would be the team in the chat? I want to know this. Who would be the team that you want to build from the ground up? Don't give me somebody that's good or a known program. I want group of five, grimy, bottom of the barrel. Like, we're out here trying, man. Like you're just doing your best Frank Solich impression out here. That's what I'm trying to look at.
All right, next one up here. I want to talk about Bronny James. So Bronny James fell out of ESPN's NBA mock draft. And, LeBron James put out a tweet. Do we have that tweet where LeBron said, hey, just let my son, let me see, can y'all just please let the kid be a kid and enjoy college basketball? But it was LeBron James who was tweeting out that Bronny could suit up for the Lakers right now over the course of the last year or so.
Yeah, I do want to say this. I don't feel bad for Bronny because they're super rich, right? He's going to be fine either way. But it's got to be tough. Look, I was the son of an All-American linebacker at Auburn, and that was tough to grow up in that shadow. I can only imagine if my dad was Michael Jordan or Wayne Gretzky or LeBron James. And this just goes back to who LeBron is. He is, to me, it's like Stephen A. Smith. I'm going to say whatever I need to say in that moment or to that group of people, regardless of what I've said before or what I've stood on before, that's going to try and behoove me the most. Because it was LeBron James, and we have the tweet pulled up. Man, Bronny definitely better than some of these cats I've been watching on League Pass today. It's lightweight, hilarious. But then, when it doesn't go your way, because look, if Bronny was a projected top 10 pick, LeBron wouldn't be shutting up about it. Mm-hmm. He'd be tweeting about it every single day. But since Bronny isn't that, right, now LeBron's going to act like, oh, just let him be a kid. It's just two-faced, man. It's like, be yourself. It's like it's like Blaine talks about when LeBron says he sat here and read a book and he's got it turned to page 1. Like, we're all stupid. Again, honestly, and again, no offense to anybody that's got a timeshare out there, it's like when I was sitting in that office and they'd bring in a new person every 20 seconds who's like, hey, man, should we tell them about that deal? He's like, no, don't tell them about it. They're not ready yet. They're like, all right, well, we only give this to 2 non-locals every 2 years. I'm like, come on, man. I've seen Wolf of Wall Street. How stupid y'all think I am?
Be like Tiger Woods and his daddy.
So
don't go back to college, dummy.
So the question is, will Bronny still come out this year? Because, look, I think teams will still draft him.
It doesn't matter.
Just for the chance that LeBron, because he wants to play with his son.
Bronny cannot dribble basketball for the rest of this year, and he'd get drafted to the Lakers.
This next season.
To the Lakers?
Or do you think he'd wait till the 2025 draft?
Oh, well, they'd probably wait for the 2025 draft, but I know LeBron wants to play with Bronny for a year. And I promise you, it doesn't matter if he's for the Lakers, Heaven's Army, or we're somewhere in Atlanta that's playing for the water team. All right?
That's a good.
Bronny's going to end up on the Lakers if LeBron's there. No one's going to say, LeBron, no, we're not drafting your son.
Well,
I promise you that.
Free agent sign.
Free agent sign. Something. I'm just saying.
That's a big difference.
There's only 2 rounds.
That's a big difference.
At the end of the day, I'm saying that Bronny will be playing for the Lakers at some point with his dad.
Well, and I also want to say this. I'm just glad Bronny's able to play with what he went through. Remember his medical scare. I think some people have forgotten that. But let's just say I'm the Pistons.
Mm-hmm. I know where you're going with that.
Maybe I'm the Hornets.
Yeah.
Hey, we're down bad. What's the one way we could get LeBron?
Because
it's the same way,
him, right? But if you draft him,
it is the same way that they got the president's attention in First Kid. Got to get his son. Mm-hmm. How did Liam Neeson? How did they get Liam Neeson to go over to Romania, wherever the hell that was? Well, they got one of his family members. Yeah. All of a sudden, Bronny's over there dribbling in Detroit. Maybe LeBron wants to go over there and love somebody sexy. It's a sexy town. We'll see.
Like if you had the next to last pick in the second round, You know the Lakers would sign him as a free agent. Maybe you take him then.
Brandon Miller, LeBron
Hey,
James.
Come play for
The only way LeBron is going to Charlotte or Detroit is if Bronny's there. That's the only way.
Stuff. All right, last one here. I thought it just might be a good day for some old school Jason Williams highlights.
It's never. Talking about white chocolate?
White chocolate.
Oh, run this one.
Jason Williams.
Is that the Perk King?
No, dude, just run this. This dude was just absolutely disgusting. Play the clip.
Jelly.
Look. Oh. Hit him with that elbow. That's against Kobe. Come here.
You're looking at a guy who did not grow up in a suburban neighborhood.
No, he did not. No, he. Oh. Dude, he does stuff that I still don't see, like the elbow pass, like the one where he passed it with the back of his like that.
Oh.
Now you just crossed Kobe.
Come here. You want to talk about beating the
stereotype?
No. This man did more for race relations in the United States than anybody I've ever seen.
And the only way he said he could actually play was
yeah, I saw that. But did you see the Anthony Edwards story that he told about how he was coaching like an AAU team and he had no idea who any of the players were? So he just put a starting five out there, and like the director of the tournament came up to him like 5 seconds in the game. He's like, "Hey, why is it an A&M?" And he's like, "Who's that?" He's like, "He's the number one player in the country, right there on the bench." And he was like, "Oh," he was like, "You're in." Like, he was like, "Who do I get?" He said, "I don't care. Just hit somebody." But no, dude, Jason Williams, absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. All right, we have the Attorney General. All right, the lead chief officer of the state of Tennessee, who's a big part of this NCAA lawsuit. We're going to get him in here in studio. He's going to sit where replacement cone is. Pylon Boy didn't want to sit there this morning. He's holding out for more money, which I do respect. I don't love it. Talking about Pylon Boy.
Oh, yeah.
He's holding out for a little bit more, which, again, I can respect, man. It's America. But let's get back to the Booster Club while we're waiting. And remember, phone line's open. Here in about, Spidey Senses, 15 minutes.
Yes.
We're going to hear your calls.
All right, I'm going to run through a couple teams here. People are starting. We got the Boxius. He's going to University of Akron.
I love it.
All right.
I love it. Speaking of LeBron.
Chase is going Tulsa.
Okay.
What's that spelled backwards?
You don't want to know.
All right, we're going Kuno Suro Ronan. All right, he's going with the Razorbacks, Arkansas.
Okay.
See?
Okay.
Well.
Oh, no. No. This is...
What? Hold on.
No. They're in the SEC.
Oh, so is Vandy.
Well, that's a totally different story.
How's
so
Arkansas?
different?
Arkansas's going to be trash in the game. Like, they're going to be trash.
When I ask for teams that you want to build from the ground up, I'm talking group of fives. I don't want Arkansas. It's like the other day. I X'd out or tweeted out, whatever the kids are calling it nowadays. I was like, give me your March Madness sleeper. And somebody put like Mississippi State. And that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking like Florida Gulf Coast, which, by the way, I was scrolling through TikTok the other day. I saw the highlights of, you remember Lob City, Dunk City, Florida Gulf Coast who made that run? I forgot. Dude.
They were thrown.
Absolutely. That's the only move they had.
They were having fun.
And they were good at it.
They were unbelievable. Some of those dunks, you talk about punishing the rim. But no, like, I don't want to hear Arkansas. Like, that's not what I don't even want to hear Tulane. I'm talking about bottom of the barrel. I'm talking about Scott Leffler with a huge two in at Bowling Green.
You said group of five.
Yeah, but like there's levels.
Damn.
There's levels.
We can't get Tulane?
No.
All right. War Chant says Eastern Carolina.
ECU.
All
acceptable because of the jersey.
Greenville boys, stand up.
That is the line. You want to know what the line is? That's the line right there.
Justin Decker, UAB.
I accept that.
All right. Sasha, Texas State.
For sure.
Love it. By the way, do you see who they got? Texas State got James Madison's quarterback, McLeod.
He was player of the year in that conference, wasn't he?
Stevens going with Utah State.
Love, respect it. Shout out Blake Anderson.
Ruiz is going with Western Michigan.
Yeah.
Just any MAC school.
Yeah.
Any MAC school, you're good.
All right, we got another. Eddie's going with Rice.
Oh, God, love it.
All right. Chance is going with Texas State as well. Ozeki Andrews going with the Hilltoppers. And Charles Dissett is going with Army.
Army? Okay. I can accept Army. The real question is, are you going triple option? Are you trying to flip the script? That's the real question.
All right, let's go to Connor Montgomery. Connor, what is up, my guy? The reason Bronny will not be drafted this year is because his stats are abysmal and USC is so bad. You cannot possibly justify saying he's better than 60 other players in the world that year.
It just is what it is, man. Like, he's not good enough to get drafted when you look at the pool. I mean, regardless if he's LeBron James' son or the Chancellor of Denmark's son, which I don't know if they got a chance there. I don't know how they do it over there in Denmark. I would think they would. They have a king over there?
Don't act like you don't know.
David, I really do not know. Do they have a chancellor or a king or like some guy dressed up like a wizard?
I'm on it.
I don't know.
All right, let's go to Venu. He wants to know, is it okay if I build up Navy, hashtag support our troops, baby, and we're going all the way.
Look, I'm never going to get mad you pick an Army or Navy or Air Force or something cool I hadn't heard of. Space Force, when do they get a team?
They have a prime minister in Denmark.
Okay. Same thing, wizard, prime minister. Mm-hmm. Isn't that what they had at Hogwarts? Wasn't Dumbledore the prime? You know what? I'm not even getting into that.
Is there a wizard prime minister, or is that a thing?
I hope not, because that's horrifying.
Let's go to Poison Alley. What is going on? Would we even be talking about Bronny if his dad wasn't LeBron James?
No. That's the whole it's the whole point. No, we would not be talking about Bronny.
All right, let's go to Arik. Arik, what is up, my guy? Guys, do we believe in Rick Barnes can actually make a run this year and not blow it like he does every single year? Hashtag David, please don't bet on us.
Yes. All right, I'm going to answer this. This is a great segue. It's a Tennessee question. We have the Tennessee Attorney General, Jonathan Skrmetti, joining us. Let me move. Got a replacement cone real quick. Hey, you be Jonathan.
Come here.
Get out of there, replacement cone.
Having it by the throat, you weirdo.
Get out of there.
No, here's the difference in this Tennessee basketball team. Attorney General, good to see you, sir. Please, come sit down.
Yes, come in.
We're just talking about Tennessee basketball.
All right.
Great to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir.
Well, but before we get into that side, the football side of it, Dalton Connect to me has been the difference. Can I use a cool term?
Please.
The connection.
It's got to be
with
cool.
A K.
Okay.
Look, in the past, Tennessee struggled to get a bucket at times in the NCAA tournament. Defense has never been their problem. They would lose rock fights in the NCAA tournament. They needed a guy, and I'm not trying to hate on Ziegler or Vescovy, who we know is going to finish playing at Tennessee and then go try and kill Bruce Willis in the next Die Hard movie. Like, they would get stuck. Dalton Connect does not get stuck. He's going to win SEC Player of the Year. He's the guy that can go score 30 and get you past that Sweet 16 game that you need to get past. But we are very excited now to be joined, speaking of Tennessee, by the Tennessee State Attorney General, Jonathan Skrmetti. Thank you so much for joining us, my friend, especially in studio.
Well, it's great to be here. It's a good way to spend the morning.
Definitely. Well, I'm going to get started. And to our audience, we've obviously been keeping up with this. This is a huge landmark moment, obviously, with high-level college football in general, and the NCAA. Just for our audience out there who may not be 100%, or may not understand 100% of what went on, your affiliation with it, can you just give them a quick kind of summation in layman's terms of what happened and what it means?
Sure. So we sued the NCAA, state of Tennessee, state of Virginia, on behalf of student athletes in our states. Mm-hmm. And it's under the Sherman Act, the federal antitrust law, saying that the NCAA was illegally suppressing the NIL opportunities for college athletes. The way the rules work, to the extent there were rules, and that's part of the problem, you could not negotiate with a collective until you'd already committed to a school, which means you're negotiating with one collective. And that's not really a negotiation. You go there and then you say, give me money. And they say, we'll give you this much. And you say, I'd like more. And they say, no, it's not a negotiation. Markets work when you have different options. You can make choices. So we were saying the NCAA needs to let players explore what their options are before they commit. And the court agreed with us, said it was illegal, and there's a preliminary injunction in place now.
Well, that just makes sense. And Mr. Attorney General, the thing I can't understand is if you're the NCAA and you are wanting to have some sort of semblance of power moving forward, the way is not to go out there and selectively attack schools. And you're not going to win a court case where you're not letting people explore their options before they make a financial decision. How surprised were you when you saw the NCAA coming after Tennessee? Did it really kind of shock you guys, and that's what led into this, kind of injunction?
Well, I think it was a bad move. The first thing is, after the Pruitt situation, Tennessee cleaned house. They fired everybody who had done anything wrong. They surrendered scholarships. They paid a huge fine. And they were held up by the NCAA as the example of what a program should do in that situation. And then 6 months later, they're threatened with extremely severe sanctions based on these rules that weren't even in place at the time involving NIL. The president of the NCAA a couple months ago said there are no rules for NIL. They turn around, they start looking at, the harshest penalties they can assess against a school. it was a mistake for them to pick Tennessee for sure.
Yeah.
But, that's just not the right way to go about it.
Yeah, well, it almost, and these are my words, it seems petty. Like it's a stole your girl situation. Like it's just the NCAA once again. And we've seen this over time. They selectively choose who to punish and how far to punish them. You talk about there not even being rules, but I mean, heck, you look at college basketball, Kansas, you could have 8 level 1 violations. They're not going to do anything to you. Duke and North Carolina's players don't even go to class. They're not going to do anything to you. But Will Wade and LSU, the minute you step over the line, they're going to send you to the gulag somewhere in Siberia. So it shocked me, David.
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest mistakes the NCAA has made historically is trying to bar athletes from being able to monetize their name, image, and likeness. For 99% of college athletes, that's just a local car commercial, right? But nonetheless, that means a lot when you're 18, 19, 20 years old, something like that. Can you fill us in right now where we are on the difference between athletes being able to capitalize on their name, image, and likeness, a deal, through a third party or a brand, something like that, and what has sort of become known as pay for play, where athletes are getting recruited directly by a school? Because the University of Tennessee can still say, well, we want a really good football player to come play here, and we want to play them under their name, image, and likeness. And that's the way that the programs are able to use that. So where are we at in that process right now?
So, I mean, there's a blurry line there. The schools typically can't pay the players. It depends on state law. So different states have different laws as far as how closely associated the NIL payments can be. But this is college athletics. I mean, we know there are boosters out there with attorneys looking at every possible loophole because they want to get that competitive advantage. And so the schools maintain an arm's length relationship with the collectives, but it's pretty clear to everybody that there are collectives out there. They're largely aligned with the schools that they're associated with. And so you get people giving a lot of money to the collectives to make sure that they're able to provide opportunities for the students at those schools. It's kind of a mess. The more transparent it is, the more above board it is, the cleaner it's going to be. But the situation that we were in with the NCAA's malleable rules means there was a lot of blurriness, a lot of fuzziness. People were in good faith trying to push the line but not cross it. But nobody really knew where exactly the mark was.
Well, obviously, we have Senator Tommy Tuberville on here. We've had Senator Ted Cruz. The NCAA desperately wants Congress to act. I want to read you a quote here from Senator Marsha Blackburn. She said, the NCAA has a well-established history of backroom deliberations that produce unfair punishments for athletes, coaches, and universities. Until the NCAA gets its act together, any get-out-of-jail-free cards for them are dead on arrival in Congress. What's your response to that? And is there any other outcome for this situation other than having collegiate athletes collective bargain with the NCAA and universities specifically?
I mean, there's absolutely an alternative to collective bargaining, first of all. I mean, there could be some sort of contract-based NIL situation where the student athletes aren't employees, where there aren't the union issues there. I think the problem with that is sports are so different at different universities and so different depending on what sport you're talking about. I mean, Are you gonna organize the bowling team? Are you gonna organize the rifle team?
Yeah. It
doesn't make sense to have a one-size-fits-all solution there. As far as Congress goes, they all have constituents. I know David Kustoff, a congressman from West Tennessee, was on the board at the University of Memphis. I remember when the University of Memphis was getting dragged over and over and over by the NCAA in a really unfair process. I mean, they weren't following their own rules as an institution. There wasn't the independence that there was supposed to be in the investigation. It was dragging on. They were just treating the school really poorly. And I think that's a story that repeats over and over, except for those select golden schools that get, I don't want to say whatever they want, but they get away with a lot.
It's the truth. I mean, we operate in a world where, especially you look at some of the bottom lines and some of the money that some of these schools bring in at certain levels. To me, this almost, and again, these are my words, this feels like the part on the Christmas Story movie when the bully gets beat up. Like finally somebody is able to punch back against the NCAA and win. Because again, growing up in the era that I grew up in, you just walked on eggshells. You hear the word probation now from the NCAA, and that doesn't nearly mean what it meant 15 years ago, where like, hey, you can't go to a bowl game, you can't win a championship. I mean, you look at Ohio State just reported for, minor violations. But moving forward, is the NCAA, would you say, the way it is looking right now with the success, and you guys have been, honestly, kind of the Paul Revere of this thing, starting it off, do you feel like the NCAA, from a college football standpoint, they're just going to be powerless moving forward. Like, we might as well just go ahead and split this bad boy off.
I mean, I don't want to predict what the future is going to look like, but I do see this as the start of some big change, whether it's the NCAA reforming, whether it's Congress stepping in, whether it's the conferences stepping up. I mean, there are a bunch of different ways it could go, but what we had was busted. It wasn't working. It wasn't fair to the college athletes. You can't have college sports without the athletes. They deserve a fair deal. And people realize that the more money that goes in, the more ridiculous it was that people didn't have an opportunity to go out, get endorsement contracts, use the opportunities they had to perform for the school to benefit themselves. So, the future is going to be brighter. I just don't know exactly what it's going to look like yet.
Yeah, that's what we're all waiting on.
All right, we're going to get the chat here, but first, I got a speeding ticket about 3 weeks ago.
You had to know it was.
Yeah, we're going to go to AZ. She wants to know, what is the next step now that the preliminary injunction is in place?
So they could appeal. We'll go up to the Court of Appeals if they do that. They could decide not to appeal, and we'll just litigate the case, get to a final judgment, see where it goes from there. Or they could come talk. And, there's always the possibility for some sort of negotiated temporary situation. It happened in the transfer portal case where they came in, they had a conversation, figured out a way forward that took care of the concerns and created a little more clarity for them. If they want to do that, if they want to talk, I think Jason Miyares and Virginia and I are both open to talking. But if they don't, we'll keep fighting. It's going pretty well so far.
Yeah, you guys are definitely winning. I'm not a lawyer by any stretch of the imagination, but it feels like you guys are just running the ball down their throat right now.
It's going well.
All right, let's go to Eddie. He wants to know, do you see the future in NIL where the college players are agent-led? Is that the end of a slippery slope that the NCAA is saying they are guarding against?
I mean, it could end up there. But you got to worry about guarding against. I mean, guarding against the players making money is the heart of the problem. There's students, especially the high schoolers being recruited. They're young. They're susceptible to manipulation. But that doesn't mean they shouldn't get anything. That means there have to be guardrails in place. That means there should be processes designed to protect their income rather than prevent their income.
Yeah, well, I mean, to me, not giving somebody representation, the last time that happened, we put a bunch of tea in the Boston Harbor and decided to come over here and start our own deal. So, again, anything that limits somebody's ability to, and look, there's shady agents out there, just like there's shady uncles out there that handles guys recruiting before we had, quote unquote, NIL, to quote Jimbo Fisher, that y'all just started hearing about. So I would rather guys have representation. I would love if in the NIL era, if you had to take a finance class while you're in college to be able to get into it, even though I know that's something they're not going to be able to do.
I agree with that. I love that idea. And there's all sorts of solutions have been put forward in terms of like tying NIL to completion of courses or completion of graduation and stuff like that. One question for you, since you represent the entire state and not just the University of Tennessee, NCAA President Charlie Baker made a statement that said student athletes becoming employees will result in 95% of college sports being disbanded. So when we're thinking about other smaller schools around the state of Tennessee, does his claim hold merit? And if there is some sort of collective bargaining, how will that affect smaller sports at smaller schools?
Well, I mean, I think that's a real concern. You look at Dartmouth, I'm not sure how much there is there for those players to benefit from collective bargaining. Some schools make a lot of money, most don't. Some teams make a lot of money, most don't. So I think it's a real worry to make players employees. It's a real worry to do collective bargaining. That's the benefit of NIL, is they can be student athletes. They can stay focused on being student athletes. They can still get paid to the extent the market will bear it. But you're not in a situation where the school has to worry about treating players differently.
Yes.
There are all sorts of potential legal implications. I think NIL, weird as it is to use that as the vehicle for paying student athletes, might be the cleanest way to do it.
Yeah. So where's the SEC in all of this? Has the University of Tennessee had the support of the Southeastern Conference?
I think it's hard to say exactly where anybody's at, because the NCAA is such a powerful entity and it's historically been so vengeful. I think a lot of people who had concerns didn't want to put their head up. Now, I know we've got the SEC involved in inter-conference conversations now, and, to the best of my knowledge, they've been, I don't know how supportive, but I don't think they've been actively hostile toward Tennessee. I think everybody's waiting to see how this plays out.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go to the chat one more time. And
all right, let's go to Garvinet4837 for the AG. If Tennessee and Virginia are successful, does he think there will be a need for additional litigation against the NCAA on whatever the next issue is? Is there going to be a period where suing the NCAA is necessary until it ceases its arbitrary behavior?
God, that's maybe
I
the
can't believe
question. The fact that, and listen, I'm not trying to knock you, Blaine. The fact that
I agree. I'm with you.
I mean, you just had like a Will Ferrell old school against James Carville blackout moment. I'm pretty impressed.
The hope is that this lawsuit stops the arbitrary conduct and, snaps the organization into a more player-oriented posture. But it really depends on what the NCAA does. If they reform in a way that's effective and that takes care of the concerns and that doesn't violate federal law, then great. I mean, there doesn't need to be any more litigation. If they stay the main power in college sports and they continue to behave in an arbitrary manner, I mean, I've got no problem litigating until the problem's fixed.
Mm-hmm. Well, it seems like to me it's either and again, I will say my words, it seems like the NCAA has two choices. Either you keep fighting this or you just take the L and cut your losses and, hey, let's figure out something that works. I hope they pick the second one, but I am not gonna lean to the side of the NCAA being like, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, you guys are totally right.
It was really the NCAA trying to sell you that timeshare.
Yeah, it was really the NCAA trying to sell me that timeshare, but then I tried to sell it back to them. But Mr. Attorney General, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate this. I know you're a busy man. This is something where, I've had a bunch of people reach out to me like, it's like the Michael Scott, explain it to me like I'm 5, but now explain it to me like I'm 3. And having you on to clarify that, man, it really helps out.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity. This is important stuff.
For sure.
It matters a lot to kids and to fans, so it's great to have the chance to come talk about it.
Well, we appreciate you joining us. I'm going to shake your hand again. I'm sure Blaine does have that speeding ticket, to be honest with you.
Thank you, sir. This was a real pleasure.
Actually, we just brought you in here to take Blaine to jail.
Appreciate
so,
come in
thank you guys so much.
Appreciate it.
Just come hang out.
Yeah, look, it's always open.
Jonathan Skrmetti, a good friend to have with great information. Hopefully that answered some of you guys' questions. We really appreciate him taking time out of his busy schedule, doing the real important stuff. I mean, we're talking about Bronny James and all this other stuff. He's handling the real important stuff. So thanks to Mr. Skrmetti and our boy Tim for setting that up as well. Where are you walking off to? Oh, okay.
Cone.
I respect it.
Cone's back.
I respect it.
Man, that was a real treat.
That was a real
Shout
treat.
out to our team, too, for being able to do that
Without
in
a doubt.
person live in the morning. We're live.
Look, we can adjust. 2-minute drill, we'll go hurry up. We need to sit on the ball a little bit. We'll run it, get to 3rd and 2, and keep this clock rocking and rolling. But before we get into call-ins, which I want to get in there pretty quick, didn't mean for that to come out like that. Can we get to the Booster Club?
Yes, let's go to Blankles. What is going on? Whenever we went to the CFP, the NCAA has little power over football, but other sports like baseball, they control the postseason.
Well, we talk about this with basketball, with the NCAA tournament. If I was the NCAA, I would see the writing on the wall for football. Hey, we can renegotiate. But where I'm going to take the kind of, the Brett Yormark approach of, well, college basketball is the most important now. Mm-hmm. Not that the Big 12 doesn't care about college football, but they realize they're never going to be the big dog, the top of the heap consistently in college football, but they can be in college basketball. So NCAA, listen, man, y'all may not be living in the mansion anymore, but that doesn't mean you can't have a nice 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath in the suburbs. Go handle you got the greatest postseason sporting event of all time in March Madness. Mm-hmm. We've got, which it's shaping up already to be an incredible college baseball season, which, by the way, side note, boy from Georgia Tech, Drew Burress, who leads the nation in home runs, hit 4 the other day. He's like 5'8", out here dropping tanks. I just want to make sure I got that in. But yeah, college baseball, college basketball, college pickleball, whenever that becomes a thing, y'all knock yourselves out. Just stay out of college football.
That's a really good point, though, because for a program like, say, Gonzaga, whose meal ticket is college basketball.
Villanova.
Well, let's say like Cal State Fullerton, great baseball team. Yep. When the NCAA runs your postseason in basketball and baseball, yeah, they still have very sharp teeth. I'm talking about the NCAA.
Without it, and it's moneymakers.
Yeah, but when it comes to college football, the biggest thing that hurt the NCAA was the college football playoff is now managing itself. There's a board of managers. And you saw this situation play out last year with Michigan when the college football playoff committee members said, we're just interested, is the team eligible? And
Yeah.
if so, then they're eligible to be in the college football playoff.
Well, we haven't used this saying in a while, but it goes back to Belo and Borat. You know, you look at Belo, you say, you never get this, you never. But one day, Belo break cage.
Yeah.
And he get
He
this.
finally got
College
that.
football playoff, finally got it. They did.
All right, let's go to G. Hurt. Hopefully he didn't hurt that bad, my brother. Do you guys think the NCAA and the school were both wrong?
The NCAA and the school were both wrong?
Tennessee and the NCAA?
No. I think the NCAA is wrong. I think, again, moral-wise, you can believe whatever you want. Strategically, I think the NCAA made a horrible mistake.
Mm-hmm.
I think they made a horrible mistake. Instead of seeing the writing on the wall, again, realizing, man, we may need to take this L. They wanted to give it one more last hurrah, one last charge up the hill. But when you try and enforce rules that really weren't there, and if you could say they're incredibly vague, you can't then it's not a smart play to then retroactively go after people. It's like now going back and ticketing people for speeding on the Autobahn. You're just going to piss everybody off, and you're going to lose that because it's ridiculous. There was a smart way and then a bullheaded way. And the NCAA, like they always do, because they're used to being the big dog. They're used to having the power. They're used to being the king and saying, this is how it is, and there's nothing you can do about it. No, LSU and Will Wade, you're going to be put on probation for 3 years. But Bill Self in Kansas, you got more level 1 violations than anybody in the history of the world. Oh, North Carolina and Duke, your guys don't have to go to class. Don't worry, we're not going to hammer you all as bad as the other guy. It's ridiculous. And I'm glad they're getting their comeuppance. That's what this is. This is comeuppance. And sometimes it just feels good to see it go down like that.
I thought the most interesting point that Mr. Skrmetti made was when he said, if you're forced to commit to a program before you can negotiate with the collective, then that's not really a negotiation.
It's so stupid.
It's all a mess, man.
For sure.
I
Transparency.
was wondering if that speeding ticket's getting taken care of. All right, let's go to 9 mil Norm. What is up? Let's be honest. Tennessee hands out McDonald's bag of cash. And also Tennessee, the NCAA has just been vengeful against us.
Well, it's not just Tennessee. I mean, you look at Virginia. I mean, you look at Florida State. Like, they're going after people that are big dogs in this space. It's the NCAA. Make no mistake. This is the NCAA versus everybody, buddy. Like, Tennessee's just again, the Paul Revere, they're the villager at the head of the pack, with the torch and the pitchfork. So it's not just Tennessee, but, we can make fun of the McDonald's bag thing. I just go back to everybody cheats. Some people are just better at it than other people. Like the way a certain place did it that really got built up, that the coach isn't there anymore, they were the best at it. And that's, everybody's doing it. Right? So I don't want to single out Tennessee. I'm glad they did what they did.
All right, let's go to Finley O. What is going on, my brother? Do you guys see the suit undermining the NCAA? And in your opinion, is that a bad thing?
No. I mean, if you've ever listened to the show, I think the NCAA getting their slimy, grimy hands, not that college football is clean in other areas. All right, there's a lot of people with dirt on them. But I think this is good for the sport. I want to see a separation. I want the sport monitored by people that aren't just, that's why I talk about the College Football Playoff Committee. I don't want it to be just a bunch of ADs and lawyers. I want football people to manage this thing, people that understand what's going on, what the people want, the best way for it to work. Again, I'm on the side of college football versus the NCAA.
Let's go to Tristan Tussey. Tristan, what is going on? It says the NFL has a cap and the owner is paying it. College, you have so many boosters that want to win, and I mean in all different types of ways. I just don't see how this is going to work.
Well, that's the one-size-fits-all thing that he was talking about. I thought that was a great point. That's the one thing you got to look at. But you can't compare this to professional teams. There's 32 teams in the NFL. Like, and they all have rich owners. Like, there's not a poor owner out there in the NFL. There's different levels in college football. Obviously, you talk about Tennessee versus Memphis. Like, it's a lot harder to navigate, but I'm glad that they did it, and I hope it leads to some sort of reform that maybe is categorized, David. I don't know.
I think the best way for this to go moving forward, and it needs to be carefully thought out, and there's still pitfalls with every solution, but the athletes just need to sign directly with the conference, with the school they go to. The conference is the one that has the TV deal. So the SEC has a television deal with ESPN. not the individual schools, right? So, and the biggest problem and why we're in this mess to start with is these are public institutions. For the most part, there are some private schools like Miami and Duke, but these are public institutions that are universities first. That's what's caused this whole problem. Well, the conferences aren't. That's how you could get around this. Is like, let's say a kid wants to sign with the University of Tennessee, then part of the payment that he gets is the television rights money, sharing in the profit directly from the conference, and it comes for them. So any player that plays in the conference gets the same amount of money.
So now, again, remember, you sign a national letter of intent, which is through the NCAA, which is like an agreement between the prospect and the NCAA, and then obviously the institution where they're attending. The NCAA gets out of college football. I kind of like your idea. Does the NLI now become, if you're going to the SEC, it's from that conference, you have to abide by these rules? Because maybe the SEC's NLI rules may be a little bit different than the ACC's or something like that. That's a very interesting
Well, it's not perfect, but it would get around having the private, like the public institutions dealing with the schools directly and just say, hey, I'm going to sign with Tennessee. I'm going to get paid part of the profit sharing from the conference, the SEC directly. One problem is like, hey, you'd have your scholarship kicker making the same amount as your starting quarterback, but you're sharing in the profits and equality across the board. That's what they do with the schools. You're going to tell me Alabama doesn't drive more revenue for the SEC than Vanderbilt, but they get paid the same, and no one complains because they're sharing a lot of money.
Right.
You could do that with the players. Smaller sports within those SEC schools would go away, though.
Well, and I want to make sure I make this point. I just hope that if we start seeing, letter of intents that are conference-based, I hope we all operate under the same transfer portal rules. I don't want different transfer portal rules for the ACC as opposed to the SEC. And to me, the transfer portal could be so simple. It's just like the court storming thing that y'all talked about the other day that was such a big deal with Filipowski. Sometimes we make things way too complex. Now, the transfer portal is a more complex issue, obviously, than the court storming. But to me, the transfer portal, you change the calendar a little bit. You shorten the transfer portal by 20 days. If your head coach leaves, to me, you should be able to transfer anywhere you want, free transfer rule. Only the head coach. But if the head coach does not leave and you want to transfer from, LSU to Arkansas, you have to sit out a year within the conference if you want to do that.
And this makes that easier.
And it does make it easier. So I hope whatever the next step is, that from a regulation standpoint with the transfer portal, and I'm not talking about rev share, but from the transfer portal and that aspect, that we all operate under the same umbrella, because that just makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, well, think about it. If you play football at Auburn and you're involved in a rev share directly with the SEC, and that's how you're getting paid, and you could still have NIL deals on top of that, but that's your profit sharing for playing college football, then the SEC could then say, and one of the requirements with this is you cannot transfer to another school within this conference. It would be so easy.
It would be so easy, but that's why it probably won't happen. But you know when I'm ready to happen, David? If you're ready for it to happen. Ready to get the phone calls or what?
I got callers on the line. First one up is Ben in Missouri. Ben, talk to us.
I've been in Missouri.
It's a fun time, isn't it?
It's a fun time. It's an emotional time.
It is.
The Ozarks, they're a pretty good place to go. Isn't that where you went for your bachelor party, kind of?
Yes. We went and played Paynes Valley.
Ozark National.
National. You remember, so we were on top of that mountain. Remember we hit the golf balls off the back of the mountain? Dude, that was insane.
That was cool.
But anyway, Ben.
Yeah. No. The first thing I was going to do is I was listening earlier, and yes, Japan is on the other side of the international date line, so they're like 15 hours ahead of us.
Thank you.
Jake is turning Japanese.
Yeah, I really think
But it's
so.
like, it's a circle, right?
Yeah. But no. Do you know how weird it was? Number one, we saw like whales like next to the boat, which, I'm not a huge fan of like hanging out with whales. It's not really, unless it's like the goldfish kind, but that was pretty sweet. I will say that it was so weird at 11:30 in the morning watching games that are played at like 6 o'clock at night. It's just we were there kind of long enough where I acclimated to the time a little bit. So like this morning, it kind of felt weird getting up. Normally I'm pretty used to it. So I was there just long enough to get acclimated to the time. But no,
I just don't know why you keep acting like you're in Hawaii. We all know you weren't. All right. You're in Carolina singing at a hockey game.
What did Voltar, like what? I still don't understand.
Excuse me, Ben, go ahead.
Shane is the one who started it.
I was gonna talk about Russ because you, Blaine, and David were speaking about Russ yesterday about the whole thing of well, the Broncos did this. And I've had all my Chiefs fan friends here in Missouri being like, man, the Broncos did Russ dirty. And I'm just like, well, play better, you know?
Well,
like, we signed him to all this money, and he's not a $50 million quarterback or whoever ungodly amount of money we're paying him. Like, what the big question that I was going to ask you guys is, like, you know, we always think, oh man, those NFL players, they make a lot of money, too much money. And what if there was some sort of situation where, you know, the NFL could do something where your pay was based on winning games? Like, you think the competition would be insane now? Like, imagine if millions of dollars are on the line. I mean, we already have incentives to play contracts individually, but like, what if you know, it could help teams out where it's like
de-incentives.
We want what we signed up to get.
It's like boxing. Know? Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
it's to do with the Pro Bowl, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, that's, I to be honest with you, I think that's kind of a pipe dream.
Boxing.
Not saying it wouldn't be better, but you have incentives. You know, we always hear like, oh, you need one more sack to get $1 million. Or, you know, I saw this thing where Gronk had to catch like 2 more passes to hit his like incentive, and he went to Tom Brady on the sideline, and Tom hooked him up. I just don't think it's plausible. I will say this. I would love for somebody to do me as wrong as the Broncos did Russell Wilson. I mean, what do they owe this man? Like $34 million?
The money's one thing. I'm more
$9 million, I think.
Yeah.
I'm more upset about the parking spots.
Yeah. So I get his office
you get
taken
4
away?
parking spots?
Yeah.
Is that true?
To suck?
Is that true? Did he request 4 I need to know, because that changes my opinion.
That's a deal breaker for me.
Yeah, me
Well,
too.
like, listen,
I
just
don't care about
because
that. The man had his own office.
Yeah, just because just because the Broncos made stupid decisions at quarterback doesn't mean look, it's a negotiation. Y'all signed the contract.
You basically get, like, Sam Freeman's playing quarterback for the Broncos.
That's about true.
Gave a guy a bunch of money, and he was just like, whoops.
Yeah,
Stop. Don't you rush.
He's like, I'm sorry.
But Ben, great call, buddy.
So quickly, before you go, how's this going to end? How's it going to end? We asked yesterday, is Russ going to be the starting quarterback for the Broncos this season?
I don't think he will be. I think he's going to be gone. I think Blaine was right. The man's out of there just because he's been so terrible. Now, it depends on what happens with the money, but I've seen plenty of mock drafts. My brother sent me something last night that some people are saying that J.J. McCarthy, the Broncos are going to draft J.J. McCarthy, but like you were alluding to a little bit yesterday, David, I think that he's a quarterback. Bo Nix is an interesting one, but J.J. McCarthy, like, I just think he needs to have a little bit of development.
Yeah.
I just don't think in a division with Patrick Mahomes, you need to have an electric playmaker. And, you know, I mean, I'm not saying anything about the Big Ten, but, I mean, you had an elite defense and an all-pro running back, essentially. Like, I'm not saying J.J.
He needs more time, and it's not just Patrick Mahomes. I mean, his head coach is coming into the Chargers with Justin Herbert. Like, that entire division is going to be tough.
Well, it's who got the better deal, Jimbo Fisher or Russell Wilson?
I don't know, man. Russ still has to do things. Jimbo is getting paid to literally not do anything. So
they're paying him to not do anything. Please, we'll pay you to not. It's like, listen, we're not going to give you a restraining order. We're just going to pay you to leave it alone.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, great call,
thanks, Ben.
Great call.
All right, let's go to Will in New Jersey. Will, how you doing?
Ooh, Willie's back. Slick Willie.
Good, guys. How you doing?
What's up, man? Hey, stop copying what I say.
Cooking myself up a nice scrapple sandwich.
Yeah.
Ew,
there
Will,
he is.
No, you're not. You're not even doing that.
Yeah.
Will, you're a legend, man.
It's amazing amazing what you can find in the dumpster by CVS.
Yeah. I thought we were done
say
with
that
it.
now. Wait till I make it for them.
Well,
they're going to be calling me all the time.
Yeah, because you made me sick.
You poisoned me.
So I wanted to talk a little baseball. I live in southern New Jersey. I am 15 minutes from 15 minutes from Philadelphia. And I know that there's a lot of Philly trash talk to you guys in particular because of what the Phillies have done to the Braves. So I want to come with a little bit of a truce here. I'm a Mets fan, and that's its own problem in itself, obviously. Will you be willing? I know you hate the Mets, but I don't hear any Mets fans talking trash to you on this show. I certainly will never do that.
Yeah, they're in hiding still. They're still in underground bunkers.
You don't got to clap back at my boy.
No. Hold on.
Hold on. Let's hear him out. True. He's all
right. Give me the truth.
Will. Sorry about him.
I think in your opinion of these teams, I think that the Mets have warranted in their fair treatment of you to move above the Phillies in terms of your dislike rankings.
Okay, so what you're saying is I should hate the Mets less than I hate the Phillies.
Yes, and combined, our powers combined, we will hate the Phillies more than any team.
So this is
really don't matter.
This is an enemy of my. So this is a Soviet Union United States situation. So the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Eric
I will
Bieniemy.
take you up and say yes, Will, on your offer for 3 reasons. One, you had my back on the scrapple when I needed it most. These guys tried to clown me.
Absolutely.
2, Mets have Pete Alonso. That's a guy I can get behind. Love watching him play. And 3, the Yankees are still in New York, and we can still hate the Yankees, right?
That was going to be my point, but Blaine just muddied the waters bad.
What do you say?
No, you don't want to know.
Good.
Here's what I'll say. Especially after, and listen, as a Braves fan, you know, I'm the Yankees have been dead to me for a long time, but especially the mixture of the Mets really not giving us any problems, the Phillies giving us a ton of problems as Braves fans, and what the Yankees did to Blaine last year, I'm willing to do that. Yeah. I'm willing to maybe set down my sword for Mets fans a little bit. Well, I like that. All right, Will.
As long as you can move your hand to this song in the air.
How does that make you feel, Will? Give you a little tinkle.
Will, Cone's a Rangers fan.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
Well, I know.
Okay.
I know, but I Creed was my favorite band growing up, so I had a soft spot for
God, the more you talk, the more I like it.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. Will, what do you
Come
think
to
about the
Nashville,
Will?
man. Let's hang out.
Will, what's your thoughts on the Yankees?
So most of my family lives up in North Jersey, and they are actually all Yankees fans.
Love that part of your family.
I am,
and he disowned
I'm
them.
the rogue. I'm the rogue Mets fan. So I don't hate the Yankees.
Okay.
I'm kind of neutral on them since I don't live up in that area anymore.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Well,
Will,
I'll tell you
thanks
what,
for
you're
calling.
Switzerland in this whole situation.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, man. And lo and behold, we have Kevin on the line in Pennsylvania.
Here we go.
Oh boy, Kevin, please tell me you're a Phillies fan, just so we can just follow up on that.
Absolutely not. I'm a Pittsburgh Pirates.
Pirates! Yes! There we go, Kevo. I
love it.
And I called you guys today because for the first time in probably my whole lifetime,
I kissed a girl.
like-
I'm just kidding.
I'm excited for Pirates baseball this year because I think they could actually have a Bucktober.
Let me ask you
y'all
this.
just beat up on the Braves.
How much hope does a team like what the Orioles did last year, right? A team like that, like the Rangers, finally getting over the hump. Maybe the Tide. Look, I watched the Cubs and Red Sox win a World Series. I'm not putting anything past anybody, and I really hope that the Pirates do because golly, man, Pittsburgh's been waiting on the world to change for a while in baseball.
Yeah, it's definitely been tough. But, I mean, I'm not even hoping for a World Series. I want to win a playoff series.
There you go.
Let's just start there, or maybe don't lose 100 games. That's
a pretty low bar. But, like, it just seems to me, and tell me, Kevin, if you agree, it seems like every time the Pirates say, all right, we're going to rebuild this, or they finally run into a couple of really good players, they just trade them. Like, am I the only one that feels that way?
No, you're definitely not.
Okay.
Garrett Cole, that's just one right off the top of my head, but you literally just go down the list. Half of the players in the MLB came from the Pirates.
It's insane when you look at it. It really is insane. I don't understand that
shortstop still throwing it like 118.
Are you talking about the alien, the 6'7" shortstop?
Yeah.
Runs 4.2.
Him and Ellie De La Cruz?
But
insane.
I'm glad they're actually hanging on to these people, and they're going to have a chance this year. Now, who knows what they're going to do in 2 years if they don't, do anything. They'll probably just trade them all. But it looks like they're actually investing. They gave Brian Reynolds a big deal, keep Brian Hayes. They're actually investing in these players and trying to actually make a run at this thing. So it's very exciting, especially from a fan base that hasn't had much to be excited about.
Yeah, and the black unis are one of the best uni combos in all of sports.
Oh, black and yellow. I mean, Wiz Khalifa made a song about it.
Yeah.
It is pretty sick. Hey, call in again before opening day, man.
Thanks, Kev.
From you.
The last
time the Pirates were in the NLCS, George Bush Sr. was campaigning for re-election.
Really? In the NLCS.
I love the 7 days.
Long time.
Days of Dew.
Hey, that'll just make it that
Days
much
of
sweeter.
Change.
Make it taste that much sweeter. All right, let's go. Let's stay in Pennsylvania and go to Chuck. Chuck, where in Pennsylvania are you?
Chuck, it's terrible.
Hey, good morning, fellas. I don't want to tell you what kind of a fan I am, but are you ready?
Hit me with it.
Phillies fan.
Playing first base, number 12, Jake Crane.
Ooh, yeah. Hey, look, I love it. Chuck, please keep going. I'm just wondering how I'm doing in my college baseball game. That was the created player.
I did that for Willie Randolph at a baseball signing. He went crazy. That's Bob Shepard, the home. But anyway.
Chuck, I'm honored. Thank you, sir.
Hey, God bless you. So I turned 68 yesterday. So did Tim Brando. So
hey, congratulations. Level up day. I mean, you're moving up.
Yeah, we were born almost at the same minute. Isn't that crazy?
Oh,
same
wow.
Day,
Dude,
yeah.
That's wild.
56, 6 Elvis, and, all kinds of good stuff. Hey, so I just wanted to say I'm a very proud Wolverine fan. David a lot. We won the national championship. Mm-hmm. But more than anything, I'm proud of the kids, the attitude of those kids.
Yeah.
They're really wonderful young folks, and God bless them all. They're just, wow, am I proud of them,
What a collection of young men. And now they're going to send the most players to the NFL Combine. They're going to send 18 kids to the
Which
NFL
I never thought, you look at the amount of players Georgia and Alabama's put in the league. That's just incredible to think that you could top that.
And it's like God bless that team. They're very devout, and they really have their spiritual place centered in life, because there's more important things than football, and that's hard for me to say because I'm a rabid Wolverine fan all my life. But there are, and they proved it, and there was a lot of class displayed between the Huskies and the Alabama team, and just it was a wonderful display of good sportsmanship, and it's what it ought to be. And cut out all the nonsense and noise from the periphery that we put up with all season.
And Chuck, I think we got to also give kudos to not only the parents of those players, but the coaching staffs of obviously Washington and Michigan. You look at Coach DeBoer now going to Alabama, the way they were able to keep those young men, kind of focused on the mission. And if you really look at it, I mean, Washington and Michigan did it kind of the reverse way that some schools are trying to do it. You have guys that returned, guys that decided to come back, that bet on each other, that weren't in it for the individual. They were in it for the collective. And I don't mean NIL. I think that's kudos to Kalen DeBoer. It's kudos to Jim Harbaugh. It's kudos to Nick Sheridan. It's kudos to Jamarcus Shepard. It's kudos to, Jesse Minter and everybody, Sharon Moore and everybody involved.
Yeah, I love hearing you talk about the team like that, Chuck, because that's how I feel about the team too, but not necessarily the university. I mean, when it comes to the University of Michigan, obviously
that's schizophrenia.
I know it's really weird. They're really like regressive in many ways, but the team didn't let that permeate, into the building.
Well, I want to give you this thought about that, because that's something I thought deeply about. See, God will plant His flag in the most unlikely of places. Mm-hmm. So. Yes. It was a really amazing scene to unfold. It was
amen, Chuck. Thank you, brother.
Thanks so much.
Love it, Chuck.
God love you guys.
Appreciate you, brother.
Good work.
Yes, sir.
Tim Brando, let him know Crazy Chuck said happy birthday.
I'll tell him.
Crazy Chuck.
Thank you, buddy. Talk to you soon. All right, let's go to Pokey Texan in Texas. How you doing, man?
Good morning, fellas. Hey, I've got a few things here. I've got a shout out, a little trash talk. I need a minute with Jake for a request, and I've got a level up to talk about.
Oh, golly, I love it.
Love it.
The full game.
Start where you wanna.
Well, let's start with our buddy Heartbroken Hog. I've got a way to mend his soul after his fall yesterday.
Oh, golly. And then they lost to Vandy last night at home. It's just falling apart right now. I see him laugh.
The man has got to become a college baseball fan, or he's going to suffer the rest of his life.
That's what I said.
How can you not be a fan of the Razorbacks baseball team immediately after that 17 strikeout game?
Incredible!
I'm the fan of the Razorback baseball team after I watched the first basketball game Arkansas played.
Well, it's honestly what that guy did the other night on the mound for Arkansas. Hagen, is it Carson Hagen?
Yeah.
Is that his name? I mean,
Hagen Smith.
You're basically just throwing 7 different kinds of smoke up there, just throwing disappearo balls. It's like
that's
ultimate
the definition of shoving.
Yes, that is shoving. Absolutely.
Hagen Smith.
All right, so the shout out to Cowboy Hat U Florida Gators go into Stetson University's little place. They pack it full of 2,300 people, and they got beat by Cowboy Hat U.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Stetson.
That's right. Yeah.
Man, baseball, it's like here's a question for you. Which has more, I don't want to use the word parity, but during the regular season, I'm not talking about postseason, which one has the craziest upsets? College basketball or college baseball? To me, it's college baseball.
I'd say college baseball.
Interesting.
Baseball, hands down, baseball.
Yeah.
I mean, that college, Stetson is not tiny, but, they are.
Yeah, compared to Florida, yeah, they might as well, be two guys. It's like Stony Brook goes into LSU and beats their ass. Like, it's crazy.
Right, absolutely. And then the two NC subsidiaries beating big teams last week.
Yeah, I say that St. Peter's almost went to Final Four.
So, the level up. Both of my kids love y'all, by the way, and they love catching our call after I pick them up from school.
We love them.
Yeah. My about to be 9-year-old daughter gonna level up on Texas Independent Saturday. I get a shout out for her. She'd love that. Her name.
Of course.
And then my son is 11. Little League, and that's about to start on Monday. I can't wait to coach him and
Awesome.
Keep him going. He's a great young baseball player. I bet Jake, if you could give him a pep talk, he would love that, man.
Definitely. All right. So he starts when? Monday.
Monday.
All right. What's his name?
D.
What? He kind of
Say
break.
D.
D.
D-E-E.
Gotcha. All right, play the music. Let's get it. D. Probably the best letter of the alphabet. Definitely the best player in that Little League. Which, is it really Little League when you're a big dog? No, it's not. Monday it begins. I'm guessing fastball. I'm keeping my hands back and adjusting to the off speed. If I got to go the other way, that's fine. That's how you hit 600. But it starts now. Greatness in baseball is achieved over time. Hey, you may go up there the first game, it may not go your way, but it also may go your way. And you may turn into the next Drew Burris, dropping 4 tanks a game, or tanks in Kadarian. I know you don't know who that is, but that doesn't matter. The main part is, go enjoy it. It's a great time of year. That's a great age. It's a lot of fun to play in, and we're rooting for you, brother. To your sister, happy birthday. Happy level up day. Good luck, my friend. Let us know how it goes.
Happy birthday. Good luck.
Yes.
Hey, thanks, fellas. Y'all are absolutely great. God bless y'all.
Hey, appreciate it. God bless you.
God bless you. All right. We got one last caller on the line. Let's get to Andrew. Andrew, we have 30 seconds here, buddy.
Oh, yeah. Sup, Fran and Co.
Andrew, what's up?
So, I'm going to get my other questions for the next time I call him, but real quick for all of y'all, do you think, I know the new college football game is coming out. Do you think they're going to make a college basketball game like in the future as well?
God, I hope.
They should.
They should
have college baseball games, college football games.
Yes, I agree with that.
Basketball games.
Is this the template, though, that everyone else is going to follow?
For sure.
Somebody's got to do it.
For sure.
Right? Somebody's got to do it.
I will say this, dude. There should be no ultimate league in the new NCAA. I don't know if y'all know what that is.
Wait. Why? Why?
Apparently, they're trying to put ultimate league.
I know. I saw that. Why shouldn't there be an ultimate team? It's going to make it fun.
It's just pay to win. That's all it is.
Well, then don't play that mode. Then play online.
No, I'm talking about they're not going to have online dynasty. They're going to have ultimate.
No, they got to have online dynasty. There's no way you don't have online dynasty. Okay. Well, in Madden, you start dynasty or you can do ultimate.
No, I'm just saying what I've heard.
Well, I don't know. I hope they're lying to you.
I heard
they work for the NCAA. Yeah,
so
sounds like the same.
I heard
guys.
Texas A&M's running from Texas.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I'll tell you what. I think maybe.
What'd you hear, Andrew?
What'd you hear, dude?
Oh yeah, what's that?
Andrew.
Appreciate it, Andrew.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
All right. Yeah. Also, Ultimate Team is also on the last game NCAA 14. Though it wasn't the main focus. Ultimate Team was on 14.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
Very true.
Good. Thank you.
Oh yeah, and then there's the quick question for David Cohn. Before I go, what's it called? Oh, yeah. Now I remember. You remember that one time I called in saying that if a Big Ten team was going to win a national championship? Funny thing, your prediction did come through. Michigan won it all last year.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did.
Hey, Andrew, you're in West
spot
Virginia,
on,
right?
dude.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about Neil Brown coming in this next year? Kind of saved his job last year. You feel good about Garrett Green and the boys?
Funny thing, I was at the backyard brawl this past season. That probably saved his career because Pitt was god-awful last.
They were. Oh, believe me. Believe me, Andrew, I predicted Pitt to win 3 games, and I walked outside, and there was 3 helicopters and a sniper pointing at me. So I'm glad it worked out that way because Pitt fans were coming for my head. But if you come at the King, you best not miss.
Which reminds me, West Virginia made a bowl game last season, and it was in Charlotte, and they had to face the Carolina Tar Heels. I call them Carolina because when everything goes wrong, all their fans do is whine. But West Virginia fans took over Charlotte, and West Virginia beat the crap out of UNC.
Let's go.
Hey, did you say Tar Heels?
Yeah.
I've never heard that. How have I never heard that?
It's an insult.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
It's an insult.
Oh, no. I get that it's an
insult.
insult. I know you're not complimenting on the tar fields in North
Andrew,
Carolina.
great call.
Andrew, great call,
Appreciate it,
buddy.
Andrew.
Call in
as
more,
usual.
man.
Thank you, man.
All right.
Have a great day, dude.
All right. We're going to get to bets. All right. Not to bet, but to bets. I'm going to be honest with you, man. Cranico Pick Tracker this month has just been absolutely on fire.
Is he really?
I do want to give a shout out to Kentucky last night. I got to make some big moves to be able to come back and win this month. It starts, I got 2 days because I keep forgetting February only has 8 days in it. So give me Florida minus 13 tonight at home against Missouri. Sorry, Ben. And then I've got to go parlay. I got to pull a Jack Sparrow. So give me Oregon money line, Arizona money line, Creighton money line, Illinois, A&M, Florida, Iowa State, and Marquette money line. That's at plus 332. If I hit tonight, boys got to go big tomorrow. I'm talking Lizzo big.
Lizzo big.
Yeah, I'm talking about Hot Pockets hanging out the socket.
I believe in you. Big on Kentucky hitting yesterday. Loyola, Chicago, not so much. We need Sister Jean in there, all right? South Carolina tonight on the road, plus 4.5. I'm going to take it, minus 110. And then how about Oregon? You got a money line?
Yeah.
Go ahead and give me minus 11.5 at
Against the
home against
Beavers.
Oregon
Sean's
State,
gonna be
minus
pissed.
110.
All right. I got to gain 27 units in 2 days. So this is what I'm going to do. First,
You either
I'm gonna
rob
kill
the better
prime
build an
agent.
apartment.
Yeah, either that. Yeah, I'm going to rob Jake after the show. All right, give me the Blue Jackets. I'm dipping into hockey a little bit. I'm doing spreads right now, but I'm about to start walking into Nerfy season, obviously, and first goal scores. But today I'm going Blue Jackets plus 1.5, minus 114. Give me the Oilers at home, minus 1.5, plus 100. Big shout out to the Flyers yesterday for covering for your boy.
Fly high. All right, Ace. I probably should have taken this bet. Alabama, Ole Miss. Just take the over. If Alabama's playing over 165.5 at minus 110. And then Duke playing home against Louisville, Louisville, I said that right, minus 20.5. Filipowski's probably going to be pissed.
I heard he's injured out for the season.
He is?
Man, everyone talking. Phil, he's catching a lot of heat, but Caitlin Clark didn't got no heat.
Yeah, Kevin Clark got
Flopped her ass.
I actually don't think he really.
Everyone's like, "You okay? Is you okay? I'm okay if you're okay." Filipowski, they're like, "Boo!"
Like, you did it.
Forks
Well,
outside his
I
house.
loved how everybody with Filipowski was like, "Oh, look at him, he freaked out." It's like, okay, how about you just turn around and let me run
mobbed,
60
yeah.
people?
No,
at you
not
real
yeah. 100 people drunk
Yeah.
full speed.
A bunch of people-
And dude, even the video, it looked like it was knee to knee.
Like,
Like, if you ever caught something right
First
here,
off, if I'm 8 foot tall, if I'm Filipowski size, if I wanted to check you, I'm not tripping you, buddy. I'm throwing you in the third row next to the guy selling the hot dogs and the popcorn.
if there's anything, I've never stormed a field or a court. If I were to storm a basketball court, there'd be some. If I'm running down and I just see a 7-foot human in front of me, I'm going the other way.
That's why I said it was borderline intentional. I mean, they weren't trying to not miss him.
Yeah.
Or they
Yeah,
weren't trying to miss him, I mean.
Well, see, if you're smart, when everybody else storms the field or the court, you're running to the car because you're going to beat the traffic. That's if you're smart. But I'm just out here playing football.
Not me. I already left before the fourth quarter.
Yeah, you got 3 kids.
Hey,
I'm in bed already.
David left before halftime.
I never went.
If there was ever a commercial I could identify with, it was the what's the ones where they do the you're turning into your parents?
Yeah,
and they're going
he
to the
wants to
ball
leave
game.
in
He's
the
like,
third
so we're all
quarter.
on board with leaving at the third quarter, right?
Bro, that's so true.
All right, man. Let's get these donations for today. Great job today, chat. Let's go to Nick Bates. $5 donation. Hey, boys. As much as I love Pippen and Rodman, it's great to have MJ back. You're the man, Jake.
Best ever.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear that for the rest of my life. Let's go to Humpy Badger.
I'm just going to put that on repeat on the way home.
Let's go to Humpy Badger with a $2 donation. Question for replacement cone. Can Blaine bench 135?
He
said no.
Hey, calm down. He's smiling.
He said no. He said you could do the bar, though.
Let's go to Ryan Gade with $5 donation. He said, did Brian Harsin join the West Virginia basketball staff because the team has fully embraced the mentality of huddle up?
We suck.
We suck.
Yeah.
He really brought down the huddle up movement.
Well, I love this battle back and forth of the huddle up. One of the best segments we have. You're breaking it down, MC Hammer
Ours
style,
will prevail.
Spin it on the cardboard. Blaine, the podcast that Harsin started, huddle up with Harsin. How did we win 5 games?
The rebellion. All right, let's go to Chase with the $5 donation. Appreciate it, Chase. Brian, he may not get drafted, but he will get signed as a UDFA. Lakers already working on a 9-figure deal with LeBron.
Yeah, that would not shock me at all. That'd probably be the most likely course of action, I think.
Let's go to 2 Cranes, 1 Cone with the $5 donation. Welcome back, Jake.
Yes.
How was Carolina? Did you feed your choir those French ribs you love so much?
How long? You know, they say it's a lot harder to strangle a person than what you would think. Oh, sorry. I was just thinking thoughts in my head.
Don't talk about 2 Cranes, 1 Cone like that. Let's go to Humpy Badger, $5 donation. Thank you, Jake, for officially naming Wednesday after me.
You got it.
Get that David Cone haters. You're preaching just like you do in the choir.
Hi.
All bromo. Let's go to Chase with another $2 donation. Shout out Carolina's Gay Choir Men's Club. Jake, you're doing a great job in it.
I tell you what.
F3 Shake and Bake, the $2 donation. This poll should have been options for both. And that brings us to our poll.
What is the poll?
And the poll is Jake really a French spy or a gay choir member?
Oh, yeah, I see what they mean now.
Mm-hmm. Is there a neither? Is that what our boy was saying? Is there a none of the above? Can I at least get that?
No.
They've at least earned enough respect to get a none of the above?
Options for both. That's what he wanted.
Yeah, he wanted for both, not neither.
So you'd be a gay choir French
spy. You're a gay choir French spy. But for recency bias, I'll go with the gay choir at 67%.
Smart.
Close the kids' ears. Here's what I vote
Earmuffs?
for. I vote, earmuffs. I vote y'all kiss my ass like that.
Gay choir member, 56%.
Great. I'm married to a chick who's really hot and good at cooking.
Great
so
cover.
Joke's
It's the
on
best
you.
cover you could ever have.
Joke's on you.
Yeah. We appreciate you, kind of, I guess, some of you.
I appreciate all of you.
Yeah, no, it's great to be back. Chat, great job. Phone calls. Jonathan Skrmetti, Attorney General, Tennessee.
Yeah, great job.
Thank you for breaking it down.
Skrmetti, get that parking ticket, Blaine.
Yeah, need that parking ticket take care of Skrmetti.
Yep, we appreciate you guys and like the chances of the NCAA having any power in college football anymore. We're going. Ooh! Gone. This one's got a little weight to it.